Hello everyone and welcome back to my Let's Play of Star Trek 25th Anniversary. Kirk and party is on board the USS Republic, which have been attacked by a vessel which was identified as the USS Enterprise, though the Enterprise was not there. So you're now trying to re-establish power and try to find out what exactly happened. We're in engineering right now.
These are the impulse engines for the Republic.
1 minute. Just wanted to put on my stopwatch.
This was the engineering section of the USS Republic. This is a standard storage closet. You failed to obtain anything.
Storage closet might have something useful.
The closet opens, revealing a library of engineering technical journals. You take the engineering technical journals.
You see, this would have been a good mission to bring Spock
The
on,
oil
but
canister is bolted to the hull and can't be taken.
we might need oil if there's a jam in the gear mechanism. So we could use this needle on it and fill it up with oil.
The hypo is now filled with multipurpose oil. These are the controls to the Republic's impulse engines. This port is used to connect emergency power from the impulse engines to other systems if dedicated lines are damaged. This is a junction box used for temporary rerouting of engineering circuits. This is the fusion mixture regulator for the Republic's impulse engines. These are the controls to the Republic's impulse.
Okay.
This man is dead. This is the fusion mixture regulator for the...
Okay, it's the same thing.
This is the emergency power input port for the fusion mixture regulator. This is a junction box used for temporary rerouting of engineering circuits. Kirk wonders if the landing party has overlooked anything. Spock glances at his tricorder, making certain the superstructure of the Republic is stable. McCoy wonders when it will be his turn to die in the line of duty. Keege fidgets nervously. This was the engineering section.
Okay, that same thing.
This reminds me of a poem I read when I was a child. I am Ozymandias, king of kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair.
You have good reason to despair here, Jim. Remind me to compliment Mr. Scott on the efficiency of his engineering section.
Given that Mr. Scott has received a Starfleet citation on 5 occasions for efficiency, I do not see the logic in your suggestion, Doctor. There has been a .0003 degradation in hull integrity in the last hour. There should be no danger, Captain.
It's interesting that the ship was not completely destroyed. It's like it's just that heavily damaged and just left here for somebody to find.
Tragic, Captain. This is one of the greatest disasters in Starfleet history.
The impulse engines are intact, Captain. We could use the fusion reactors from the impulse engines to restore power, but the lines have been severed to the power regulator.
Can we reroute the power lines?
We should be able to, Captain, if we can find a suitable supply of power cable. We will need to route the power through a junction box so we can set an impedance level. A direct connection to the regulator would cause an overload. This is an engineering circuit junction box. It is used for temporary rerouting of power. Without using one of these devices set to the proper impedance, an overload can occur.
That's why we got the...
Nothing to report, Captain.
That's why we got the technical journals.
This person's dead, Jim.
Let's look. Let's see how the transporter room looks. Come on. There's a weapons bay, but we can't get there.
turbolift access is blocked by an extremely high radiation level.
This man is dead. A large piece of equipment has fallen through the ceiling. The area looks extremely unstable. Fortunately, the entry to the transporter room is near. This is a length of heavy-duty insulated power cable. You pick up a length of cable.
We got 2 cables that we can use for the junction box, but we still need to find an impedance before we can connect it.
This corridor leads to the transporter room. James T. Kirk. Leonard McCoy. Ensign Keege. Mr. Spock.
Okay, that's interesting. They just say who their names are.
I haven't seen anything this bad since I was aboard the Farragut. And this vampire cloud...
That's an episode of the original series where this vampire cloud that he experienced during Farragut came back and started harassing the Enterprise and suffocates people, basically.
I'd like to meet the people responsible for this and give them a piece of my mind.
It does get better than this, doesn't it, Captain?
I do not see the need for conversation, Captain. Humans have an irrational enjoyment of endless discourse.
This place is not as damaged.
The transporter room appears to have escaped serious damage. These sliders activate the transporter systems. The transporter room... These are the power conduits for the transporter system. The transporter room... This is the transporter chamber. The pads do not seem to be damaged. Dr. McCoy avoids the glance...
Oops, sorry.
Dr. McCoy avoids the glances of his crewmates. Keege is eager to perform his duties. A resolute Mr. Spock. Kirk is extremely worried.
The transporter pads seem intact, Captain.
Oh, great. My favorite place in the ship. Wouldn't you know it would be in the best shape?
This room's in pretty good condition compared to the rest of the ship.
I have a bad feeling about this place.
Surprisingly, the transporter controls have escaped damage. Nothing to report.
I didn't do anything in there.
I failed to see the lock.
I guess not. Okay, well, I think it's time we try to go to auxiliary control and see what we could do. I had to go to the sickbay area that's so I could access the turbolift on this side. Okay, we need to pry that container open, and I think the laser drill would be the thing to do that.
The drill easily breaks through the seal of the panel. The panel opens easily.
Initial scans show that the gear mechanism is currently jammed with metallic debris.
A knot of debris is jamming the gear mechanism.
Any phaser?
That may not be wise, Captain. It could damage the entire door assembly in its weakened condition.
Well, maybe the oil could loosen it up.
The oil seeps into and loosens the debris. The door is jammed. The gears are completely cleared of debris.
Now we can open the door.
The auxiliary control room view screen is still operating. It is displaying a view of empty space. Damage from the battle has disabled the ship's main computer. This is the impulse power allocation control. Indicators currently show no power output from the impulse engines. This is a standard input-output slot for record decks. These are Federation standard record decks.
I need those.
You take the record decks. These are the auxiliary helm and navigation controls for the Republic. Though they are intact, the ship is in no condition to move under her own power. Spock wishes that Mr. Scott were here. Ensign Keege doesn't see the need for a security escort. McCoy wishes that Mr. Scott were here. Kirk is dismayed by the damage that was done to auxiliary control. This is the Republic's auxiliary control room. It appears to be in better shape than the main bridge.
It's not really saying much.
What a mess. I wonder what we can do to fix this.
You get no
Oops.
I'm glad this isn't the Enterprise.
If there's anything I can do, sir, just ask.
I believe nothing needs to be said, Captain.
Let's use the command decks on here and see if we could find out what's going on.
Captain's log. Stardate 6087.6. The Republic is currently approaching the Vardane system. Sensors have detected unusual energy fluctuations near one of the Vardanian moons. Starfleet has ordered us to investigate.
Vardane. It's near Lassie.
Captain's log. Stardate 6087.8. We are under attack by 2 unidentified ships. I don't know how they could have approached undetected. They must have some kind of cloaking device, although there are no reports of Romulans in this sector.
Nothing happens.
Here we go.
Captain's log. Stardate 6088.1. We have successfully driven off our assailants. Major damage has been sustained by our warp engines. Communications has reported that USS Enterprise is in sector. I requested Mr. Scott's assistance in repairing damage to the Republic. With luck, we will be fully operational in a couple of days.
But the Enterprise was nowhere near here.
Captain's log, Stardate 6088.5. First Officer Andrade commanding. The Enterprise has inexplicably opened fire upon us. Captain Patterson has been mortally wounded. We have sustained major damage to all systems. Impulse power is out. We cannot understand why.
There are no more log decks, Captain.
That kind of seems to suggest there is some kind of ship that is imitating the Enterprise.
Captain, I have examined the engineering journals. According to Chapter 18, we can run...
Jim, do we really need a lesson in starship engineering?
Spock, just tell me if they will help.
Why, yes, Captain.
Okay, we can now if I could restore power to engineering and get some systems up so we could get some things going on in Republic. Oops. Already went to dinner one. Connect to power cord.
Nothing happens.
Oh, I connect it here.
You connect a length of cable between the impulse engine and the junction box. You connect a length of cable between the regulator circuits and the junction box.
Please select an impedance.
Spock?
Captain, the information obtained from the engineering journals indicates the correct impedance setting to be 19,000 ohms.
Go ahead and adjust the settings, Spock.
Power has now been restored, Captain.
These are the impulse engines for the Republic.
Impulse power is functioning, Captain.
No, can't move the ship. It can at least provide power to certain points of the ship.
This is the fire control for the photon torpedoes. There is no response.
Mr. Spock, what is the condition of the fire control system?
There currently is no power being allocated to the weapons system. Even if there was a power source, the damage to the main computer is enough to prevent power allocation to that system.
Spock, what is the situation with the impulse engines?
The main computer is too badly damaged to actively control the power circuits. I fail to see the logic. I fail to see...
Mr. Spock, what is the status of the ship's computer?
There is extensive damage to the main processing unit of the ship's computer. It will take several days at a starbase to repair.
We don't have several days, Mr. Spock.
Unless we can find a suitable computational alternative, there will be no way to control the ship's systems.
That's just great, Spock. We don't exactly carry an M5 computer in our inventory.
Correct, Doctor. However, there may be another alternative. Linked tricorders, along with the circuits in the data reader, should have the processing power necessary to control a single starship system.
Thank goodness for parallel processing. I don't know what computers could do without it.
Okay, well, I'm going to call it a Let's Play here, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.